Hello, and today I'm going to be covering how you can make USTs for the Greek VCCV format. So first, I have the word logo in Greek. So what you'll first do is to do it in the phonetic format of Greek VCCV. Because of this, I recommend checking out the recording tutorial first to see the different phonemes and how they're pronounced. For opening vowels, I start with a dash, then a space, and then the name of the vowel, and then it transitions into a VC sound, which is vowel separated by a space and a consonant. But unlike the VC sound, there will be no spaces in the CV sound. Then it is another VC sound for transitional purposes. It's vowel, a space, and then a consonant. But for the other CV sound that has the consonant and the vowel together, lastly, there is the vowel, the space, and the dash, which signifies it's going to be the end of the word. We've covered most types of sounds, except for a few I'd like to mention. So, for example, if you want to transition one word into another, like for example, if you're going to say la, then if you have two sounds together, in certain cases, say if you're doing a diphthong, if you do I and I, it will not sound natural. Then maybe it'll transition more natural if it's like la and then I, is you can do a VV sound with a vowel, a space, and another vowel, capital I sound, and then you blend it into each other. Although you can do diphthongs, it just won't sound as natural. Let me add a vowel, space, and then a dash at the end. And some examples of other VV sounds is do K and then E and then O. It will blend one vowel into each other. So it will be the E sound, a space, and then little O sound. This is pretty much it. One last sound I want to mention. These are consonant clusters. So what you'll want to do, K and an S sound, and you'll want to do the S with the lowercase e, which is a more nasally sound, more like the a in play as opposed to the in bet. Then you want to do the e space and the capital J sound, which is the ny sound as in canyon. Then you'll do a CV sound, which has no spaces, and it'll be a capital J and a. To close it off, I'll add an a space and then a dash. So here's how the sound is. Note that with sounds that are consonant clusters, you cannot add dashes before, you cannot add dashes after them. This is pretty much all of the sounds you can do if you are using a regular UTO synth. But I'll also show how to create USTx files in OpenUTO, which is similar. Once you have selected your Greek voice bank, you'll want to go over to the Phonomizers tab and English x Sampa Phonomizer. So once you click it, type Romanized versions of Greek words, for example, Aphrodite. But notice how it doesn't exactly line up, and it's calling the phonemes that do not exist in the voice bank. What you'll want to do is add a space after the word, add a square bracket, and then you'll want to type each phoneme individually. So for Aphrodite, you'll put an A, an F, 4, which is the Greek R sound. Then you'll do the capital O, then the T, and then the I, then another square bracket to close it off. You do not need to add anything after that. Notice how all these sounds are separated by spaces. So I think this sounds a bit better. Aphrodite. But if you sound that doesn't exactly sound as natural as you want, you can always move the slider over to choose how much of the phoneme you would like to be pronounced so it doesn't start overly early or overly late. You can even change the envelopes to ensure that smoother or more choppy sound. So let me try another word that we tried earlier, Xenia. Alternatively, you can also change the phonemes themselves. Say if the nya in Xenia does not load, then you can instead not have to use the phonetic hints with these square brackets in each phoneme. You can simply just change the aliases. You can also type in phonemes how you normally would. So we'll have to exit out of the settings and go back into the default phonomizer, not the Xampa phonomizer. And for example, if we want to write an A, then an A space F, then a 4 with the capital O, then a capital O space, then a D, and then a lowercase I, then an I space T, and then T, then I, and then an I space T, to end the sound. So this sounds nice so far, but if you want to extend words, say la, you can do like la, doing a vowel space and then another vowel, or like vowel space and then a dash if you want to end it, or you can simply use pluses. This way you can kind of adjust envelopes to make it sound more natural. The plus is also typically found in USTx files if you want to make them for Greek, and it's typically easier because then you'll have compatibility with phonemizers because it typically won't recognize vowel and then space. Alternatively, like for the Xenia example, you'll want to go over to the phonemizer and then you want to do a capital J, then A. We'll remove the vowel and the space and dash because it will not recognize. You can do a plus with a tilde, and that way it will sound more like Xenia. So it's a way to kind of extend the note without forcing it to go into the other syllable. So I've pretty much covered how to create both USTs and USTx's. I hope this tutorial helped you either use voice banks or make USTs of your own. And I hope you have a great day.